Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg show here. It's already been a pretty epic day, and I get a chance to talk to an incredible human being and a pretty good musician in his own right. Buzzy Feiten, welcome to the Jake Feinberg show.
Jake, it's a total honor to be here.
You know, I wanted you to talk to the audience about an example of when Philip Wilson and Gene Dinwiddie showed their generosity to you, as from a musical point of view, also from a humanitarian point of view, and like helped you because they knew you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the first act of generosity actually was to accept a white suburban punk into, this group of incredibly accomplished, avant-garde jazz musicians. Those guys, Dinwiddie and Philip Wilson, were both from the Art Ensemble of Chicago. And it was my first experience with black people, first of all.
It was your first experience with black people?
Yeah, there were no black people in Long Island. I mean, there was three blacks in my high school of 700.
What town was it?
In Centerport, Long Island.
Three blacks
and 700. So it wasn't like a
melting
racially
pot.
Balanced situation, So, I was completely terrified, to be honest with you. I'd been introduced, to blues and stuff like that, earlier in high school, but got deeper into it when I first started going to college in Manhattan. There were some guys, especially in college, that were deep off into the blues and introduced me to a whole bunch of stuff that I'd never heard of, like B.B. King Live at the Regal and Howlin' Wolf and Muddy and, sort of all that kind of stuff. And, I got deep off into the Butterfield band too. I started, I was playing French horn, going to college playing French horn.
French horn,
yeah.
Not bass.
No. I was playing bass on the side, but I was studying French horn.
Bass wasn't considered an instrument you could study at that time.
Well, I just wasn't, I was kind of coerced into going to classical, to a conservatory by my parents who, let me know that they would be extremely disappointed in me if I didn't pursue a career in classical music. So I did that just to please my parents, but I was not into it, So, about a year and a half into it, I bagged it. I just said, I can't do this anymore, and quit. And, I think I might have told you this story a couple times, but anyway, I ended up auditioning, actually jamming with the Butterfield band, essentially, but the Butterfield band plus B.B. King plus Jimi Hendrix plus Al Cooper on stage with me playing bass, and so that led to an audition with me playing guitar for Butterfield, and I ended up getting hired. And I honestly believe at this point it had nothing to do with my playing, or as much to do with my playing, because there was 30 guitar players, all of whom were better than me. Every last one of them was better than me. But I was really cocky, and I was so stupid and so cocky and so arrogant that I think that's the attitude they were looking for, more so even than the playing so much. I don't think they were looking for chops or looking for technique or looking for musicianship so much as they were just looking for a kind of an attitude more than anything else. And I think, that arrogance got me the gig, but it also, at some point, you have to deliver the goods as far as being able to, fit into a band situation. And those guys, the generosity they showed me was in not kicking me out of the band, first of all, because I didn't know how to play rhythm. So that was the first act of generosity. But that being said, I do remember, drumsticks flying by my ear, play, and the drummers.
Was it because you were wanking it and they were like?
Well, I was just soloing through everything. That's what you did. it was like dynamic. What do you mean dynamics? I'm playing as loud as I can. It's like, that's kind of what it was.
Right.
It was like, well, if you pick up a guitar, you solo. That's what you do with it, So the drummer used to yell at me often and say, "Play rhythm, motherfucker," and he'd throw a drumstick at me.
Phil Wilson would do that?
Yeah. So Gene Dinwiddie took a softer approach. He would, he didn't say much, but he kind of showed me how to play rhythm by, like, whenever we would jam, which was often, Dinwiddie would grab a tambourine, and he had the first of all the softest, most understated approach to playing rhythm on the tambourine that you could believe. And there was something that the pocket was so deep and his groove was so intense that I learned more about playing rhythm from his tambourine playing than almost anything else in my early musical.
I just want to be clear, though. It was not loud.
No.
It was
just
the
opposite.
The intensity.
It was almost, you could barely hear it at first, but it was just the way he played, with the dynamics he used. It was all about the dynamics in the tambourine groove. It'd be like some beats were loud, some beats were soft, some beats were ghosted. He took me to school by demonstration.
Right. The drumsticks weren't flying, but
the drumsticks weren't flying, but he was letting me know, hey man, take your foot off the gas for a minute. It doesn't have to be 95 miles an hour, man. You can start out at 30. So anyway.
No, I mean, I think it's...
And the same with his playing. The same with the sax playing was like the same thing.
Right.
He didn't immediately try to kill you, with...
It was a build-up. There was a build.
It was a build-up. He would just build... He would build stuff. He would build stuff... He would speak. He would have a conversation on the instrument. He would tell a story on the instrument, and that's something I learned, from those guys, that you have to tell a story. That any good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Buzz, but can we get a little more light in
Yeah,
here?
sure.
I want this little bit. I want people to see your face. This is a beautiful studio here, just building apparatuses, repairing apparatuses.
Yeah, let me see if this helps.
No, that's perfect. That's all we need. Yeah, I just don't want you to be in the dark.
Yeah, well,
it's fine.
sure.
Totally fine. This is switching gears. I just want you to give a message to people, philanthropists, people that have more money than they know what to do with, and they love.
That's hilarious.
Well, no, it's true. I mean, there's a lot of
preamble.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cats with like houses with they have Legos and they don't never even touch the house is full.
And they don't know what to do with themselves. Yeah.
But that being said, they love good music.
Yeah.
What is your message to them about if for live music and good music to sustain? Can you talk a little bit about people that need to ante up now in order to create those regional pockets of music again?
Well, I mean, I don't know what people need to do.
No, I just want you to riff on that. You told me this. It was very impassioned. I liked it.
Well, I just believe that. I mean, it's not a belief. It's kind of how I've lived my life. I believe that artists are providing an absolutely essential value. They provide incredible value to the quality of life of human beings. And, back in the 1600s, artists were subsidized. They were, I don't know what the word is.